Welcome back to our virtual previews of the Pfizer People's Coast Classic. This week, we'll highlight Day 2, a 65-mile route from Garibaldi to Lincoln City. There are a lot of hills today, but all your hard work will be very worthwhile. Most of our day will be spent off of Route 101 and along the Three Capes Scenic Route. Please note that the course may change due to unforeseen circumstances. Before we begin, a quick thank you to those participating in the inaugural Pfizer People's Coast Classic, benefiting the Arthritis Foundation. Thanks also to our generous sponsors, Pfizer, Amgen, the Seattle Oyster Urban Adventure Race, Rebound Orthopedics, New Belgium Brewery, and the Oregon Coast Visitors Association. Day 2 begins in Garibaldi, on the north end of Tillamook Bay. Breakfast will be served from 6:30 to 8:30 a.m. After dropping off your bags for transport and grabbing some hot breakfast, you're welcome to head out en route as early as 7 a.m. However, we do have a bit of advice for you about today's course, which may delay your departure. Just 7 miles down the road is our first highlight of the day, the Tillamook Cheese Factory. They don't open until 8 a.m., so you might want to head out at 7:30 at the earliest if you plan on stopping for some cheese or some tasty Tillamook ice cream. Visit www.tillamookcheese.com for more information. As we head west from Tillamook, I'd like to introduce you to Julie Karkin, another member of our Arthritis Roadshow team. Dr. Karkin is also a rheumatologist, and she'll be talking about one of her specialty areas, osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis is not the same as osteoarthritis. Both sound similar because the osteo means bone. Osteoporosis, however, means weak bones. So there's a problem where there's either not enough bone or the architecture of the bone is weak and it predisposes to fractures.
The first of the three capes you'll come across is Cape Meares, home to the Cape Meares Lighthouse. Visiting the lighthouse requires a worthwhile jaunt off of our route into the Cape Meares State Park. Admittance is free, and you can call ahead to schedule tours between 11 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. For more details, visit capemeareslighthouse.org. Let's check back in again with Dr. Karkin about what to do if you have osteoporosis.
If you have osteoporosis, especially if you've already suffered a low trauma fracture, you should see your physician and first see if there's any treatable causes, sometimes hormone imbalances, vitamin deficiencies, and once that's been evaluated and treated, there are medications that can really decrease your risk of future fractures.
Our midday check-in point on Day 2 coincides with the highest point of the 2010 Pfizer People's Coast Classic, the trailhead at Cape Lookout. If you like hiking, it might be worth bringing some boots today. There are more than 8 miles of trails in Cape Lookout State Park, much of it through old-growth forests, with views of the Pacific Ocean and Netarts Bay. Visit www.oregonstateparks.org for more information about Cape Lookout, as well as Cape Meares. 2 capes down and 1 to go. Cyclists spend a lot of time in the sun, and Dr. Karkin is going to tell us more about exposure and getting enough vitamin D.
It's impossible to get enough vitamin D in your diet, and we don't want people to get enough vitamin D by sun exposure because the sun exposure without sunscreen puts them at too much risk for skin cancer. So vitamin D supplementation is needed by most of us.
Cape Kiwanda is the smallest of the 3 capes, but it's a great place to watch the waves and the wildlife. Pods of gray whales often take up temporary residence just south of Cape Kiwanda near Pacific City. Visit www.oregonstateparks.org for Cape Kiwanda highlights. Another bit of advice about today's route is that the ideal place to stop for lunch is likely Pacific City, which isn't until 44 miles into the day after the 3 capes. This will be a good day to take advantage of our DIY peanut butter and jelly sandwich stand provided by Gina, our caterer. Grab a few sandwiches before taking off from camp in the morning to tide you over until a late lunch. Gina will also have snacks and refreshments ready when you roll into the finish line each day. As we leave Pacific City, we'll reconnect with Route 101 for the final 20 miles of the day, heading towards Lincoln City. We'll bring Dr. Karkin back in one last time to discuss common misconceptions about osteoporosis.
The most common misconception about osteoporosis is that after menopause that all a person needs is calcium, vitamin D, and exercise. Most women, after they lose their protection from estrogen, need further evaluation and sometimes treatment.
Almost 65 miles completed on day 2 as we roll into Lincoln City. As usual, showers, your bags, and refreshments await you at the finish line. Dinner is served from 5 to 7 p.m. with New Belgium Brewery providing the beer. Lincoln City has its fair share of fun things to do, and you'll find them all at www.thepeoplescoast.org. Our Arthritis Roadshow educational program will be held right next door at the Lincoln City Community Center, where rheumatologists, orthopedic surgeons, and bone density screeners will be providing free resources and screenings to the local community. This concludes our preview of Day 2 at the Pfizer People's Coast Classic. Come back next week for Day 3, and thanks for watching.